Thank you, Kansh, for giving me this a wonderful opportunity. So, according to my opinion, the privatization is a very good step taken by the government because we have seen in a government institute they are getting into a loss. Like if you're talking about the BSNL or the airlines or the banking sector, all the sectors are getting into a loss. But if we are comparing with the private sector, like we having in telecom sector, there is only three private sectors are like Vodafone, Jio, and Airtel are doing a very well. There is not a comparison with the BSNL. We are not saying that the BSNL is exist in our society because we are totally dependent on a private sector. Every product and every thing is depend on a private sector. Even the if we talking about the bank, airlines, and the defense, everything is made by the private sector. So it will provide the general public to a better facility, and it will save our time because we know that every person earns money, but we cannot earn a time. So for getting a better services, we can save our time. It means that the privatization is a better thing because in the government sector there is a very late work and a very lackness. So according to my opinion, privatization is a good step by the government.
Thank you very much. My name is Keshav Gupta, and today I will be speaking against privatization. So, as you said that everything is good about private sector, and you're getting money, you're getting facilities, you're also getting time. So why 9 lakh students are sitting in the competitive exams to get a government job? Your parents, your teachers are motivating and encouraging you to go for government jobs. So why is it like that? If everything is good about private jobs.
You are talking about the government job that parents are forcing their children to get a private government job. But it is a very conservative thought or a very conservative thinking by the parents. They think that the government job is better. If you are comparing to the employee of the Google or the any private sector like Infosys and the Wipro, then they are earn more than they are twice, not thrice of the government employee. So how can you compare that the government job is better? And we have seen that the 97% of the India's population is dependent on a private sector. Then how can we give a job to the 97% only because we are having a 3% job, government job? Then how can we settle a 90% population into a 3%? So we should change our thought that the government job is not a future because we know that the government employees are very careless. Like if you're talking about the SBI bank, you know that what is the reality of the bank. When you are going to do any kind of a work, they are very careless. They are always making excuses. So you waste your 2 or 3 days for getting only a passbook printing. So these kind of problem are facing the every general public. So it is a total waste of a time. But if you are going into a private sector or a private bank, then it will provide a better services. So it means that the government sector is not having a future.
That's a very great point by Mr. Rajesh, and I would like to put my in point of view that every sector, government sector is much better also, where not only private sector but government sector has like post office, and you can talk about the post office banking services. They're very fast, and even post office works very faster than the other services. Post office it is a reliable trust and we can believe on. But if we talk about the privatization, it's just one man handling that system, and in a government it is handled by many persons. So that is very much more that if we are putting our money on one person and we are making one person very rich. We don't want that. We want everybody to have the equal opportunity and equal success. That is why I think that government sector should be much more advanced, and we should help the government peoples to get more less lackness and be much more aware and much more reliability. That's why. And talking about the situations that ISRO, there are many government institutions like ISRO and other companies that are providing good vacancies, and every person wants a government job. Why? Because, can you tell me, Mr. Vikram?
You are talking about the post office. Post office are given us a good opportunity, and they are given us a fast cashing system. But nowadays they are lack of digitalization. there are a lot of people are facing many difficulties in post office. That's why the people are not wanted to go in the post office. They are choosing a private sector like HDFC Bank and all the banks who are belonging from the private sector. So in my point of view, post office are not good for our society, and it is not given a fast cashing system.
Okay.
So first of all, I want to give the answer of the Ekant's question that he is asking about the post office services. So if the post office services is a very good, then why the e-commerce sites like the Flipkart, Amazon, they are not sending the products by using the Indian Post? They are using their own services because it will create a more employment and it will giving a very fast services. We know in the Indian Post system there is a very careless employees. They sometimes charge a very high for a, if you sending any type of a courier, they are first of all they are taking a long time because it is a government and they are having a fixed schedule. But in the private sector there is so much competition, so they are always try to giving a better services to their customers. So that's why the post office is not a better than the private sector. And now I want to answer the Ekant's question that he is telling about the in airport they are charging the more in the parking fees, but it is not a true fact. If you are going to the earlier airport early time in airport, then it is what was the condition of at that time. There is not a better ticketing system. You are used to standing in a long queue for getting a token of a parking because there is a lack of a space, and now they are improving the area of the parking, and they will also provide you a neat and clean environment. There is not a rush of any kind of auto rickshaw and all. You go directly to the airport and park your bike or a car. So it will provide you a better services that you cannot waste your time. Even if you are reached at airport after 15 minutes, you can directly reach to your flight. So these type of facilities given by the private sector. That's all.
So you are right that they are providing you the services, but in government sector we are also providing the services, and the fame and respect that we get in government job, that we are not getting in private jobs. And in the times of COVID, you have seen this, that many of the private companies were, they were shut down, and only the government sector was secured, and they get their payment and their salary on time. But in private sector it was security also. So I think that government jobs are more secured than the private ones. This is the point.
Hello everyone, my name is Mohammad Ruman. Thank you for giving this wonderful opportunity for presenting my views in front of everyone. First of all, as we know that our army soldiers in army soldiers 50% money or 50% fund given by government in army sector. In 50%, 40% are pay on a salary, and 10% remain. In 10%, how much arms and weapons by government? If 40% only 40% pay only in salary, so 10% Rafale Rafale is bought by our government. So what do you think about when our government are pay only his salary and pension, then when they are purchase a weapon and aircraft? So what do you think about this?
I think wants to answer.
Thank you for. I would like to ask, as you were saying that e-commerce site was having but they are making their own infrastructures and they are building their own because they have mass production of the productions. They are selling their own products. That is why they are getting and they are not having the post offices, because post office has other duties also and they have other responsibilities. They are doing that. They have their own banking. And what kind of interest you are getting at private sectors, like Axis Bank you have talked about. Axis Bank and other banks, what kind of interest rates are you giving at FD or RD, whereas the post office is giving you the higher interest rates for the FD and RD. That's why. And other points that Rafael and proceed. So that my question was, Rafael, and if we are not getting modernized because the ordered government sectors, but we are getting to developed countries because all the black money are being kept by the individual persons who are getting, who the private sectors are getting money. And that's all like money is like they are doing illegal properties, they're capturing illegal properties. That is why the government sectors are not having that kind of money, because every private sector is having the capturing the black money. And this.
Hello everyone. I want to answer the Keshav question who are asking earlier. In pandemic time, many of the private companies are getting shut down, and he talking about the government employee. Government employee are getting respected. But in my point of view, nowadays the people who are earning a lot of money and who are making his life better, they are getting respected. It does not mean he are belonging from a government sector and he is belonging from a private sector. And if you are talking about a pandemic time, in a pandemic time, many of the government employees are earning their salary without doing their works. But in the private sector, the employee of the private sector are earning their money by doing their work from home. They are getting getting money from doing their works from home. If we talking about the marketing, in pandemic time, marketing play an important role to fulfill the requirement of the people. So in my point of view, in the pandemic times, privatization are also helpful for the people.
I think government jobs are more secured. You get the life insurance after the retirement, but in private jobs you're not getting that. And as you said that they are focusing more on giving pensions and salaries to their employment after the age of 60. So that is the good thing for those employees, because afterwards they don't have any source of earning money. And secondly, in private jobs, what the employee is doing, he's working under a private person who has its own desires and goals, who is always thinking of money and greed. But if you really want to work for the public and work for your country, you should always go for a government job, because as you have seen in UPSC, people are going with the intention to serve their country. But in private jobs, you are going to earn money and for your own benefit.
So you mean to say that only the government employees are increasing? So you mean that the only government employees are doing work for a country, not the private sector? Like you are using a mobile phone which is also made by the private sector, and you are using a Chrome browser which is also managed by the Google. And you know that the prestigious company Google, they are offering their employees a crore package, and every poor person can afford the Google. So how can you say that they are not contributing?
Okay, they're not. Everybody's contributing, but in a different stage. But the government employees are much more contributing than the private sectors, because they are doing a lot of efforts. Because the government jobs is to provide the means that we are providing for the development of the country. That's why. And as a security, we are talking about what kind of privilege or what kind of benefits we are getting in the privatizations if we are doing a private sector job.
In a private sector job, it is more secure than the government job, because if you are having a lakhs and crore package, then you there is so many deductions we have to make, like the CTC, and there is also a gratuity fund. If we are leaving your job, then you get a crores of a gratuity fund. So it is a very secure job. We are not, and there is a very opportunity of getting a more and more jobs, because in government job there is a very limited growth.